You can only make money when you spend money. You put money out there, money comes back to you. Adulting, you have to mother yourself. You have to discipline yourself. And the only way to do that is to actually sit down and set all of these things in place. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, hey girl, my name is Lucy. I always say to stay subscribed. We have a good time on this channel, right? As you seen by the title, we're talking about money. Habits that kept me broke. The main bad habit of mine when it comes to money is not talking about money. That's like the first thing. Before we get into all other bad habits that actually kept me broke, I just would stay away from money. If you notice on my channel, I probably have made one video or two videos about money. Although I have a lot to say about money, as in mindset, multiplication. I have a lot to say about money, but I just stay away from it. But now we've broken free from that demonic spell. And that's the reason why we are talking about money today. Now, without further ado, let's just jump right into the video. I already told you guys a few seconds ago that one of the main bad habits that was keeping me broke was, completely staying away from the topic of money. And I didn't even want to hear, I didn't want to talk about, I didn't want to read anything that had to do with money. I was so scared of money. And the funny thing about me having this mindset is I don't even know where it started from. I don't even know where it came from, because thankfully, God being graceful and him being mighty, I didn't come from a background where we struggled with money. We didn't struggle with money at all. I started from a background where money wasn't an issue. Typically with people who have this mindset, it's usually people from backgrounds where it was a little bit hard, struggling and all that kind of stuff, so money could be a bit sensitive. Although at some point in my life I did have to struggle and all that kind of stuff, which I would unfold later on if need be in other videos, but not necessarily this one. Still, my mindset with money was from a young age, like I just didn't like to talk about money. That is a very, very, very bad mindset, because obviously what you don't know, you're not gonna know. I didn't even know where that was going. If you don't educate yourself on a particular topic, you're not going to know anything about that topic, right? And obviously a huge topic as money, discussing money and understanding and educating yourself about money is important in everyone's lives, because we need money to survive, right? And we spend money on a daily. Money is pretty much life, especially these days. If you don't know money, if you're scared of money, if you're afraid of money, if you don't want to talk about money, you're going to do so bad in the area of money. That was number one thing that actually kept me from getting money. It actually kept me broke for a very long time, because I had this poor mindset with money. Now, with me having this mindset, this led to me being afraid to touch my money. And this one, I do know where this mindset came from. I think it was that, fluctuating effect of going from having to, it declining and not having, and then low and then back up and all of that. And I got to, very dark places sometimes. I just kind of had that mindset that was stuck, or that thing that was stuck in my head, that I didn't want to get to a certain point or go back to, a certain phase in my life or a certain season in my life. So that kind of put it in my head that I shouldn't touch the money, because if I touch the money, it will take me back to that phase. Am I making sense? Because I feel like I'm trying to say everything at once. That bad habit of me not wanting to touch my money was really terrible, because you not touching your money means it's not growing. You being afraid to take out money to do things for yourself. And this is not just to appreciate yourself for all the work that you have done to even get that money in the first place, which is very important, because you also need to appreciate yourself and gift yourself and spoil yourself for actually doing that work. A job well done. That's one thing. But at the same time, you're making all this money and just keeping it somewhere, and you're not multiplying it in any way. Do you get what I mean? I wasn't getting rich. I was still broke, because I was making the same money as I was making every month, and I just kept it there, and it was just the same way. It's just like when you buy a bag, because it's so expensive, you keep it and it's just collecting dust. There was the point of buying the bag in the first place. Do you feel me? Get to spend money, because I'm just like, nah, I don't want to get broke. I don't want to get broke. And granted, yeah, you should be mindful of how you spend money, but at the same time, you're not supposed to be that rigid with yourself. You can only make money when you spend money. You put money out there, money comes back to you. That's how the money mindset works. At least that's what I've learned all these years. You have to invest in that business. You have to invest in your craft. You have to invest in your skill or something. You have to self-develop. You have to do all of those. And that could require you to spend money. So you have to put money into something for it to yield you results. But that's something I didn't want to open up my mind to. That's something I didn't want to do because I was so scared of touching it so that I don't run dry. I don't go broke. What I didn't realize is regardless, I am still going to be broke if I don't do something about the money that was in my account. If you want more from what you have right now, you have to use what you have to get that more, to go out there and fetch you more. And that is the mindset that I deeply had to work on because it wasn't easy. And the moment I broke free from that, I could go in there, take out money, invest in little areas in my life that are yielding me money at the moment. You need to first make the income, then figure out how you could triple that income. Now, one other thing that was keeping me broke, which is quite common but people don't actually realize, is not planning out your purchases. I can't pronounce that word today. I don't even know why. I've said purchases like 1 billion times. I just don't know what the problem is. But anyway, planning out your purchases and also impulse buying. That was another thing that was keeping me broke. I didn't understand that budgeting is important. Like, you have to budget daily, weekly, monthly. Every penny you spend has to be accounted for. If you need to have drinks, if you want to hang out with your friend, if you need to buy that bag, if you want to go and see a movie, it has to fall into the budget you have for that moment, for that week, for that day, for that month. Planning out every single expense. Telling yourself, this is the money I'm setting aside for purchases this month, and I'm not going to exceed it except it is highly important. That is something that I learned a little too late, and that's the reason why you have me. I am seated right here and giving you the tea. You have your income. How you spend every penny out of that income has to be going into a place that you already saw coming. So this is an amount you set aside for miscellaneous. This is an amount you set aside for self-development. This is an amount you set aside for, you know, splurge, spoiling yourself, all of that. But it has to be budgeted. Like, you need to learn budgeting. And if you want to learn and you feel like all these YouTube videos are not helping you, then you need professional help. I don't have professional help because so far YouTube videos have pretty much helped me. There are a lot of channels on YouTube that I watch. Now, you know what's crazy is that before I couldn't even stomach one finance video. I couldn't stomach one money video because I just didn't want them to tell me the truth about what I was doing wrong. Do you get? I feel that was one of my biggest problems. I just didn't want somebody to tell me, yeah, you're doing it all wrong, you need to change your money this. I just didn't, and I was just so scared to hear someone say that to me. But now I binge those videos. I watch so many videos helping me budget, you know, setting aside, you know, a plan and all that kind of stuff. Impulse buying will take over when you don't have budget set aside for certain things. You would go out and then just buy, and at the end of the day, you will be scared to look at your account, which is something else that was so toxic. You know when you spend so much and you don't even want to look at your account because you know you already did a madness? That was me all the time because I had no plan. I just tap my card like this. And at the end of the month, when I finally brace myself and then, you know, gather all the lever and sit and open my app, look at what I spent in the month, I am so flabbergasted. And sometimes I try to even trace it. Yes, you can get your statement and, you know, kind of look through it, but at the same time, so many purchases or expenses just get lost in that, and you're wondering how you spent that much money in such a short period of time. You need discipline. I always talk about discipline in every area of your life, especially when it comes to money. A lot of things, like I've already said a million times on my channel, can be put in your face. A lot of things can just be piercing you in the eye. Someone has this, you want to have it. For instance, like I'm crazy about perfumes, but yes, I do have to hold myself a lot of times, even when I see new perfumes that smell so good and I have to have it. If I really want it, I put it in a budget for like the next month or if I have more money, maybe like next 2 weeks or something, but it has to fall into like a plan. It has to fall into a window. I'm not just going to up and go and get it. That's just not how it works. That's how you spend a lot of money, and that's how you're not able to account for money spent in a month. That's how you're not even able to account for your entire income in a month, because you're not sure where the money went to. Oh my god. One other major thing, which honestly I'm laughing because whenever I think about it, I'm just asking myself why. But this actually kept me so broke and confused. I didn't educate myself on income splitting, like monthly income splitting. Now I have a rule, you know, the 50 20 20, 50 10 10. It depends on, you know, my income for the month. I usually have 50 10 10, 15 20 20, just depend. But then you can split it however you want to, but I didn't educate myself prior to this. When I finally told myself, okay, you know what, I should be saving. I was doing this thing where I would save, I kid you guys not, 80%, if not 90% of my income. You're not being realistic because you have expenses for the month. You can't live with 10% or 20% monthly. You have bills to pay, right? So you being scared of not touching your money, because I would do that because I was still scared of not touching my money. So I would want to save a huge chunk of it, right? But that's not necessarily saving. In fact, that's not saving at all, because what I figured out is I would still go into my savings every single time I run out of that 10-20% in a month. So at the end of the day, I don't have savings because I keep dipping and deceiving myself that, okay, I'm going to put it back next month. I'm going to put it back next month. But be realistic when you're splitting your money. Like I said, there are different methods, 50 10 10. I actually don't, well, it depends. If I'm getting significantly high like pay that month, then I could do 50 10 10, 15 10 10. It just depends on how you want to split it, right? But learning how to split your money, and when I'm throwing all these numbers like 15 10 10, I mean like, what do you use money for? Like, what are the things that you know, spend money on in your life, on a daily, on a weekly, on a monthly, right? Routines, or maybe your rent, obviously the necessities out of the way first. Those ones are, you know, important. And then what do you invest like a little penny on to, like, you know, improve your skills? What do you spend money on? You just put money there monthly. You set that aside. That's like 15, 10, 10, 20. It just depends on you. You break it down like that. You put the money aside, but then you put out like obviously a little percentage for savings as well. Your savings do not have to be like 50% of your income. That's almost impossible or almost unrealistic. Only if you're earning so high, like ridiculously high, then you could put 50%. And if like 50% can go into your needs and your wants per month, then that's cool. But if you're not making a ridiculously high amount, I don't see why I should be saving 50%. Like, I really don't see why. I was always dipping into my savings just because I didn't have any money in my account. Because obviously it's not budgeting, so I was just spending. And I told myself, okay, you know what? When I'll get my salary, I'll just dip all of it into the savings. Dumb. Don't do that. You're not going to have savings at the end of the year, so do not absolutely do that. Now, the final bad money habit that I had was this thing of not setting long and short and long-term money goals. We set goals on this channel, realistic goals, right? The thing is, I didn't even know about this because I wasn't educating myself about money. I didn't even know about setting money goals. First of all, I wasn't even investing. So I didn't have multiple streams of income at some point. I finally told myself, okay, you know what? I'm going to have a plan. There's one thing for you to get your income. There's one thing for you to have a plan, you know, plan your purchases, you know, don't impulse buy, you know, have the breakdown, you know, you're putting money, setting money aside and all that kind of stuff. There's one thing to do all of that. There's another thing to actually be very efficient at it, that at the end of the month or at the end of the year, you still have much more. So what that means is, are you able to save money even from the budget that you have each month? I'm gonna give you an example. Say for instance, you make $100, right? And probably maybe you're saving $20 every month, and the remaining 80 is going to expenses and so many other things that you do, right? Are you able to give yourself goals that, okay, you know what, from this 80, I'm going to put out my needs, so my rent and whatever like debt I'm paying monthly that I need to take out from that 80%, and you take it out. So you give yourself goals that, okay, you know what, this month I'm going to do everything that I have to do and still have change. Like I'm still gonna have a lot more saved. Those are like smaller goals, right? While bigger goals are like, at the end of the year, I want to have XYZ amount saved in my savings. Like even if I end up touching it, I'm going to have XYZ amount of money saved at the end of the year. Those are like long-term goals. And obviously there are bigger goals that you could have, tripling it. But obviously we start baby steps, right? We tell ourselves we want to save, okay, $10 this month. So from the 80%, I want to have like an extra $10 sitting somewhere. You give yourself those type of goals. Well, I didn't even know. In fact, I didn't even want to think about it. It was such a funny mindset that I didn't want to touch my money. But at the same time, I didn't want restrictions on my money. Having all of these like, you know, goals and budgets and stuff kind of made me feel like I was restricting myself, when in reality, it was a healthy way to manage money. But I like to know one thing that is constant in life is change, and you're not sure where you're going to be tomorrow. You're not sure what's going to happen to you tomorrow. You're not sure what your situation might be. Luckily, you could, you know, be 2 times richer, but at the same time, there could be a downside where you would need financial help. And if you're not smart with your money, then you run into problems. All of these mindsets that I had previously, they were just like, they were too toxic, honestly. I didn't want to think about, you know, all of this, oh, short term, long, what am I thinking of? Like, I need to have, you know, emergency savings. I never really wanted to think about those things. I knew at some point they existed. I'd see like some videos being suggested and they'll pop up and stuff, and I'd just be like, nah, that's not for me. I just didn't want someone to tell me the truth, and that's just the truth. Write yourself a plan. Always have a goal. Always give yourself targets. Like tell yourself, okay, if I'm able to go 1 week without actually buying something that I don't actually need, then I'm going to reward myself next week with this. You know, just kind of challenge yourself. That's the word. Challenge yourself all the time to do better, and that would also help you with discipline as well, because adulting is quite difficult, right? You don't really have your parents over your head as they did, you know, when you were younger, trying to direct your own life. Adulting, you have to mother yourself. You have to discipline yourself, and the only way to do that is to actually sit down and set all of these things in place. So that's what I'm gonna tell you guys. Don't be like me. I already told you guys the alternative to my bad habit, what I have overcome and what I'm doing right now. So I hope this video was helpful. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe to the channel again if you're not subscribed. Follow me on Instagram if you're not following me. Thank you guys so much, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.